Okay, so you want to get right into it, yeah. Understand what really makes a startup tick. Or, well, what makes it stumble.
Exactly. Cut through the noise.
Today, that's what we're doing. We've pulled some great insights directly from startup stories. We're looking at Sarah Lee from Green Cycle, Michael Kim at TechSphere, and Emily Chen of Foodie Hub.
Three really distinct stories.
Totally. Think of this as like your quick download on hitting those bumps in the road, building a solid team, and, scaling up without everything falling apart.
Different paths, but lots of valuable lessons packed in there.
So let's dive in. What first jumps out is how they each faced really core challenges tied to their specific idea.
Yeah, definitely. Take Sarah Lee at Green Cycle. Her whole mission was sustainability, right?
Yeah.
But that meant, practically speaking, she was wrestling with finding materials that barely existed in a reliable supply chain.
And regulations, too, I bet.
Oh, absolutely. The regulatory side wasn't exactly set up for what she was trying to do.
Right.
It wasn't just a concept, it was a real practical hurdle.
Right. It's one thing to have the vision, another to make it happen. So how did she tackle that? It sounds like she couldn't just, Google it.
Well, she became incredibly resourceful. She wasn't just hitting dead ends. She was actively hunting down experts, going to conferences, digging through online forums. Networking was key.
So not just passion, but like detective work.
Pretty much. And collaboration, working with suppliers, not just demanding things. It shows that getting over those early walls often means reaching out, building a network. You can't do it alone.
Makes sense. And her advice reflects that, right? Resilience, staying focused on the why.
Exactly. That mission focus, she said, that's your compass when things get tough. And building that support system around you, it's a recurring advice for a reason.
Okay, so shifting gears a bit, let's talk teams. Michael Kim at TechSphere had some interesting thoughts there.
Yeah, he really zeroed in on the people side. It wasn't just about skills for him.
It was more about alignment.
Alignment, shared vision, shared values. He wanted people who were genuinely bought into where TechSphere was headed, ethically too.
And he talked about diversity, equity, inclusion, not just as buzzwords.
No, he saw DEI as a driver for creativity. Different viewpoints, different backgrounds. That's where the real innovation sparks come from, he argued.
But different views can also mean friction, right?
Sure, and he addressed that. TechSphere apparently put a lot of effort into open communication, active listening, and having like a clear process for making decisions when people disagreed.
Kind of the essential plumbing, as you said before we started. Keeps things flowing.
Exactly. It's not glamorous, but it's vital. He viewed that whole company culture thing as the company's DNA. It shapes everything.
How you operate, how people see you, who you attract.
Right. So for anyone building a team, it's way more than just filling slots. It's about consciously building an environment.
Okay, environment built. Now, growth. Scaling up. Emily Chen at Foodie Hub. That's a different beast.
Totally different. She hit that point where what worked early on just couldn't keep up. Rapid expansion puts immense strain on systems.
So she had to focus on efficiency.
Operations.
Operational efficiency, yeah. Investing in tech, streamlining how things got done. But interestingly, she also stressed keeping that core mission front and center, even while growing fast.
Right. Don't lose sight of why you started.
Yeah.
How did Foodie Hub actually manage that rapid growth? Any specific tactics?
Well, things like automation where possible, getting processes really tight, bringing in the right people strategically, not just hiring bodies and keeping a super close eye on the finances.
Sounds like a balancing act.
It absolutely is. Her advice really highlighted that tension. You need careful planning. You need to know where your resources are going.
But you also have to be ready to pivot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Be agile. The market changes, things happen. You need that plan, but you also need the flexibility to adapt. Foresight and adaptability dancing together. So pulling it all together, Sarah's resourcefulness and network building for those early hurdles, Michael's focus on a values-driven, inclusive team culture, Emily's strategic approach to scaling planning plus agility.
Yeah, these are insights straight from the trenches. Real experiences, not just theory, learning from people who've actually navigated it.
Definitely valuable stuff. So final thought for everyone listening. You've heard about Sarah's resilience, Michael's team focus, Emily's scaling strategies. What single piece of advice maybe resonates most with you right now?
And how could you maybe apply that kernel of wisdom to whatever you're working on or thinking about, something to chew on?